Now, before we even get into gameplay, right? I have to first give everybody, this is like habits in itself. This is like already habits. The notepads should be out. Everyone should be scrambling over to their settings right now, because this is like a lesson in itself. This thing right here, just your settings alone, this is like a lesson already. I'm telling you, you'd probably gain 100 points just from changing your settings. We are gonna go for the absolute optimal settings. All right, and this is gonna be optimized for bullet specifically. I think it's good for, you know, any of your games in general, but specifically bullet. All right, so first of all, we're gonna start with the board, or let's say the board settings, the first one. DGT smart board, y'all ain't that smart, leave it off. White always on the bottom. Don't know what that's all about, leave it off. Show legal moves, are you kidding me right now? Of course show legal moves. This is like cheating. Of course leave it on. A free hack? This is like CSGO wall hacks. There's no way you guys would be able to find those moves anyway. Leave it on. Play sounds. You've got to be joking me. Of course the sounds go on. You want to hear the clickety clackety. I've been told by people that they sometimes play chess on chess.com and they just stare at the screen, they just zone out, and like they won't even realize it's their move. But you hear that sound, you know. I think it's very helpful. So definitely sounds on. Definitely feel free to customize this if you don't want to improve at chess, but otherwise leave it at default. Highlight moves 100% on. You need to have highlight moves on, very important. Not only is this just good habits period, but you guys will actually probably not even be able to register what the previous move is in a game. Like if I told you to look at a position, close your eyes and look at it again and spot the difference, I don't think you'd be able to spot the difference all the time. That's why we have highlight moves. Okay, that's why we have highlight moves. Now moving up here, move method. This one I can't stress enough. So important. Move method. Now, I'm not saying there's a right option or a wrong option when it comes to dragging and clicking, right? If I pick up this piece, you see I'm holding on to it, and then I'm gonna drop it on D4, right? That's drag. Click is like I click the piece, then I can move my mouse anywhere. I'm not dragging it around. And then I click on another square, the target square, and it goes there. You see how those two things are different? Very, very few people are actually going to thrive in a situation where both of those things are enabled. Because guess what? We don't drag a piece one move and then click a piece the next. That's just not how we're programmed. Like everybody here just does one of those things. So pick one, whichever one is natural to you, comfortable with. So for example, for me, I'm gonna go drag pieces. I think that's more comfortable for me. I'm always going like this. What it means is that, let's say I have both of them enabled, right? Let's say I have both enabled, click or drag. That means I might be sitting here in this position and I might go to put my bishop on G5 and then say, wait, I don't wanna do that. And then I might just be like, you know, clicking around or something. But because I've picked this up, put it on that square, because I've done that, if I just go and all of a sudden click on a random square that it could move to, I might be randomly playing moves like bishop h6. I might be randomly playing moves like king here just because I'm clicking on squares. So absolute, very serious piece of advice is pick one and just go with it. Now, animation type. I think the default, yeah, right here is medium. It should be on none, period. Plain and simple. It should absolutely be on none. You don't want any animation. You know why? Weebs out. That's how you're gonna remember this setting. Weebs out, no animation. If you're doing puzzles, if you're playing games, you're making a move, it literally takes time for that to appear. It actually takes time for the piece to actually register. So when your opponent's moving against you and they play d5, there is a brief animation for that pawn to go from d7 to d5. Like it moves there. If you have none, it just appears there. Piece notation literally does not matter. This is just how you read the things on the side. Not too much there. Now, coordinates. I think coordinates, not helpful. If anything, the presence of little tiny like letters and numbers all over the board is kind of distracting, especially if you have them inlaid like this, where they're literally on the board. I think that's strange, distracting, and depending on the piece set you use, they might even be covered. So not even that useful. So I would say no. No coordinates. Now, this might not seem that important, but for the pieces in board, I've actually been experimenting, and I think my overall thing is that you want to have as much contrast as possible so that the pieces are really bright, obvious, and there's contrast between, let's say, the pieces and the squares. And I achieve that in a few ways. So for example, I would even use the piece set that I have right now. I don't think there's great contrast here. Like the black pieces kind of blend into the board, in my opinion. Like as soon as I change them to some other options, you'll probably notice that that these pieces are not very good in terms of contrast. So let's say we change it to like, you know, classic or something, right? You can already see the contrast is way better. You see the pieces more clearly, and then the same with the board color. I mean, you can obviously make it simply just match after. I mean, you can just try different things, right? I think the green might be the classic chess.com one. This one, right? You can see how the pieces stand out to me a lot more than let's say the chess that I had. So I am definitely going to be using the classic pieces for this series. I think it's a big difference. I really do. You can use whatever pieces you want, but I definitely recommend some pieces in the family of, like, you know, alpha, classic, even book, for example. Like the pieces stand out a lot more than these like design ones. Basically, if you're trying to have like a really cool design, like bubble gum or like any of that stuff, you're trolling and you're leaving points on the table. And the final thing is about the background. Now, every time, everyone's gonna have their own piece set preferences. I get it. Not everyone's gonna be happy. But my point is, you want contrast. And you don't want to be playing around with this bubblegum trash. We go to the settings, which I think is like right here. You'll be able to change like in the themes. You can change whatever. Also dark mode, I always put it on. I think that's just clear. We don't want any light mode users. Shutter. So dark mode on. And then the background, I think they have like, I think it's this. This is the default. But I definitely recommend using the, I mean, you can just upload like a custom background, for example. I think it's a clear upgrade. Dark theme everything, maximum contrast, right? That's how you do it. We're not even on the settings, right? That was only the board, but maximum contrast, you know, black background. That's how to do it. We also said, okay, over here in the second column, we got play, general, live, daily. First of all, daily, there should be nothing on in daily. Like, go to my next available game, go to game list. Like, I don't even know what's going on here. Whatever settings, maximum number of games, 0, like, go on vacation, yes, just permanently. Like, there should never be an option for you to be in a daily game in your life. Maximum games 0, and go on vacation and never touch that again. Now, the live tab, which is the most important one, most relevant. Enable pre-moves, yes. Enable pre-moves, absolutely. You need pre-moves enabled before you even start. 400 bullet, slap those pre-moves on, baby. Pre-moves right away. Always promote to queen. Also, super, super important. The amount of bullet games that you play where you promote to something and it needs to be not a queen, it pales in comparison to how many times you're going to want a queen. So enable pre-moves, yes. Promote to queen, yes. Low time warning, yes. Very helpful. Everyone knows about the little mariachi band that comes and plays at about 20 seconds. Offline challenges? No. Who do you think I am? Absolutely not. Multiple games? Also no. And auto switch games? Also no. All off. All right, I'm gonna save that and make sure we got it. Here we go. General. Okay. So, automatic analysis, right? Automatically run a quick post-game analysis. Blah, 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 blah. Sure, great. Thank you, right? Love that. Auto watch the top game. Absolutely have that off. It's a redundant setting. When you're playing, you are the top game. Show timestamps. This is extremely relevant. This is actually going to keep us honest, all right? When we play, I'm actually going to be very, very serious about calling you guys out on move timers. Move timers. Okay? You don't want to be spending a lot of time per move. You don't want to have any moves that you're like spending literally 30 seconds on, for example. Okay? So make sure you have this on because you can actually refer to it after the game. It's actually useful. We like timestamps on. Focus mode. First of all, focus mode is born from the idea that you look at your opponent's rating and you get intimidated or scared, or you see you're playing a GM and then you like play worse moves or something because you're nervous. That's why focus mode exists. It's to hide your opponent's like rating and like put you in just like a like it's all about the chess. Like it's just about the chess, bro. But let me tell you, if I know I'm playing a 400, or if I know I'm playing a GM, that absolutely does affect how I play. And it should. You are absolutely beta if you use focus mode. Always use focus mode. Hell no. Hell no. Confirm resign. You definitely want to have confirm resign on, because we all know for a fact that we have tried to click draw and click resign. I have done that literally on stream. So let's just get that out of the way and admit that and confirm resign on. The other reason why we want to confirm our resignation probably the most important reason, is that if you click resign, chess.com has a nice little feature right here, right? They have a nice little feature that'll remind you that we don't resign. So if you're clicking resign, chess.com is nice enough to install a feature to remind you, dumbasses, that we don't resign. So when you click resign and you get that pop-up, do you want to resign? The answer is always no. It's always no. Resigning is an immediate F in the habits class. Never resign. This is bullet. You definitely don't resign in bullet. If you don't resign in blitz, that's one thing. But bullet is a guarantee. All right. So confirm resign, definitely yes. Game chat. Allow challenges. I mean, first of all, allow challenges, absolutely not, right? I'm not messing around with challenges. Game chat, absolutely allow it from everyone. You want to be able to trash talk your opponent. You want to be able to feel their tilt. Everything. You want all that. I want all the smoke. Chat on, challenges off. Friends can challenge me no matter what. No, we don't have friends. No friends. This is all about grinding bullet. No friends here. This is super long foreplay. Play the game. No, you don't understand. This isn't the foreplay. This is the game. You change your settings like this, you'll probably improve 50 points already. You're not getting it, man. This isn't me joking around here. If you're sitting here with pre-moves off and auto queen off, you're already sacrificing easily 100 bullet elo. There's no question about it. All right, and these are just going to be my settings for this. I'm going to try to, I think it's nice, keep the ratings about as close to us, maybe 100 and 100 as possible, which is just nice to have. So now we have these three done. Someone was reminding me, I had this on inside to show you guys, but no, I don't want any coordinates on, so thank you. There we go. That'll be off. And then alerts, challenge alerts, no. Event announcements, don't care. Boom. That should be it. One of the most important things in bullet is to understand that if I grab my, queen from the bottom of the board here. Here we go. If I grab this from here and want to move it all the way up here, I'm traveling a super long way, right? Whereas if the top of the board is right here, I'm only traveling to there. Very important, right? I can move queen d5 faster than I can move queen d8. I should be. It only makes sense. So if I have my board a little bit smaller, there's no way. Of course, if you have your board like this, what's going on? You're not impressing anyone. You're not gonna be moving anything faster. You can barely see the squares. All right? But this is too much, truly is. We all know we're on laptops, computers. It can be sizable. So I definitely recommend taking that board, just shrinking it a little bit, shrink it down, just to something like this. Nice little medium size. Because remember, Professor EXP, you already know. Size matters. All right? So, board size, do make it a little bit smaller. My recommendation. If I'm ever seriously playing bullet, like off stream, I would always make the board smaller because guess what? I'm always going to be faster on a smaller board. That's just how it works. That's why sometimes when I play on desktop, I'm always going to be slower than when I play on a laptop. Laptop screens are just smaller, so the board is smaller by default. But you can adjust that manually yourself. All right, so that's a serious piece of advice, though. Make the board smaller. It actually does matter. And once you made the board smaller, I think we kind of have a good idea of how we want this thing to look.